Hi guys, it's awesome seeing you today. I know I just saw you a couple weeks ago at E3, so thanks for coming out there. You guys, I always tell you you're one of my favorites. You're just so easy, and obviously I love Lexus, so
Well, thanks,
such
Amanda.
a pleasure to be here today. And as I mentioned in the email, what I wanted to do today was just walk you through a little bit deeper with Crackle, just some of the originals that we're launching this year. Obviously, you guys are super familiar with the space. You're super familiar with Crackle. Thank you for your upfront last year. It went really well. So very excited to be here to take you through our upcoming originals and also just tell you a little bit more about the redesign. I know I hinted at it a little bit at E3, but it'll be really nice to actually show it to you today. And of course, jump in. I want this to be totally interaction based. So what I want to kick it off with is just a little video, gives you guys a little more of the overview of Crackle. Obviously, you're so familiar with the changing landscape, and I know you guys are very focused on connected TV and understand the power of connected TV, just in that that's where so much of the audience is going now with how they're watching. So this video is just going to give you a quick overview of Crackle. Great. So obviously we're talking a lot about Crackle during this presentation, the key focus, but I just want you to keep in mind that we are part of the greater Sony. Right, so obviously Sony Pictures Television is creating amazing shows such as Breaking Bad and Shark Tank that I know you guys love. And something that's really great this year is that we're actually leveraging the amazing producers and talent over at Sony Pictures Television that created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. They're actually now creating some of the upcoming originals that we have coming out this year. So much focus on the quality of our content. It just keeps getting better and better, as you've already seen throughout the year. But then, of course, we also have leverage into all the other divisions of Sony. So Sony Music, the artists, we utilize them in a handful of our originals, and we always have the opportunity to reach out to them if it aligns with one of your launches. Sony Pictures Entertainment, obviously you guys have heard of Sony Pictures before and the amazing movies that we have coming out. And just keep in mind, if there's ever a film that you really want to align with, we can often work with the studio to get some custom content that has not yet been seen and align that with your launch, with your ad, and run that across Crackle. So some really cool custom opportunities there. Of course, you're super familiar with Crackle, and then PlayStation as well. You know that's something that you can work with me on as well.
So I might know the answer to this,
Sure.
Amanda, but just if we wanted to put product placement inside of a Sony Pictures, I'm assuming that doesn't go through you. That's probably you're more on the Crackle, and it's just original programming there.
Yeah, I'm definitely more on the Crackle, but I can always get you the right contacts, and we can try to work out something larger where it encompasses all.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, so definitely keep me in the loop for all that.
Thank you.
So in talking about the space and just understanding that more and more consumers are cutting the cord and starting to stream, I'm just curious, how many of you guys have completely cut the cord in the room? Do you have no cable network?
No cable
Or
network.
no cable. Did you ever have cable?
I did.
Okay. And so what do you use to stream?
Connected TV
And what like
on my PlayStation.
your PlayStation, but like Netflix, Crackle, Hulu, what are you watching?
Netflix, Crackle.
All the
Hulu.
above.
Yep.
Awesome. Anyone else that's cut the cord?
I haven't cut the cord yet. I'm still. I have my internet that runs through it, but I have many connected TV devices in the household. I just haven't actually made the switch.
Okay, well, you're a slightly older demo
Yeah.
too, so there's some comfort there.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Well, this stat actually totally plays into alignment with what you guys have just told me, that currently 40% of the homes in the U.S. use a subscription-based streaming service, so like a Hulu or a Netflix. And obviously this number keeps growing year over year as more platforms launch, more programs are available, there's so much more content, and people are just getting more and more comfortable with how to use their connected devices. And the thing to keep in mind with Crackle is that obviously we stand out because we are actually an advertising-based streaming platform as opposed to a subscription-based. So we will always be ad-based. There will never be a fee. So it really puts us in an amazing position in the marketplace as being somewhat different. So this year, for year 2, we commissioned Magan & Associates for another new living room study, and it was really just to get a better understanding of how people are streaming, what are they streaming, when, why, on what. And it was not solely focused on Crackle. We wanted to look at the landscape as a whole to get a complete picture. And so one of the stats that was really interesting was that 62% of those that are cutting the cord will be replacing it with connected TV. So it makes sense. They still want to watch TV on a TV. It's just a different way for them to view it, but they still want to see it on the big screen. So diving specifically into Crackle, currently we do have about 27 million monthly uniques with 174 million monthly streams, and our completion rates are all of our data and performance is insanely well, as you guys know from all the campaigns that you've run. But we do typically see about a 95% plus completion rate, and then up to 327 minutes per visitor, and it makes sense. We're all full-length content, so they're sticking around to watch a full movie, or they're binge watching, a complete series, all 10 episodes, whatever we have available. So they're truly sticking around and engaging with the content. And we have a wide variety of advertisers that run with Crackle, and this just gives you a good sense of different clients that have run with us previously, and gives you the opportunity to see some of their performance. As you can see, of course, completion rate insanely well. I told you the average was around 95%. Viewability is huge for us too, and I know that's something that's starting to emerge in the marketplace. But if you keep in mind, connected TV, it's all going to be 100% viewable. They're opening up the app, they're watching it on the screen. So it's always going to be 100% viewable on connected TV, and it's going to be the same for mobile tablet because they're launching an app, and so it will be completely in view on the screen. And in regards to desktop, all of our players are above the fold. So again, there you know that it's 100% viewable. And we are partnering with Moat this year, and we are actually going to be the first partner that will be able to measure viewability across connected devices. So we're always paving the way in terms of connected TV with research, just because we have such a high percentage of our audience that does watch across connected TV. So we see the importance in having all of that information.
I don't know all the specifics about all of each individual campaigns, or if you're willing or able to share, but it might always be interesting for us to know too. Were those across all platforms and devices, or is that specific possibly to maybe they just ran a desktop? Or I'm assuming with that high viewability rate that obviously that it must have included connected TV because it's an astounding number.
Absolutely. The majority of these were all cross-platform.
Okay, and your click rates seem to be pretty not terribly disparate, but some categories a lot better than others. And I know that connected TV you can't click on.
Exactly. So those with the lower click-through rate most likely had more impressions running through connected TV.
Right.
So if we were to take that out, and for any of our campaigns, if you take out the connected TV, those click rates are always 12, 15, 20%.
Higher, right?
Yeah, sometimes higher if you're
great.
looking at mobile and desktop,
All right, good.
especially on mobile.
We might follow up with you and just if there's anything that you can share specifically to what platforms you run on, because that's something that's very interesting to us to see such high viewability rates.
Absolutely. I can share with you specific case studies.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll follow up with later today when I get back to the office. So one of the areas that we're really focused on this year is truly defining this Crackle audience. And the term that we've come up with this year is a recharger. So who is a recharger? They are young, they're affluent, they're definitely college educated, they have a great career. Often they're multicultural. We know that they're very hardworking and active, and at the end of the day, they want to just come home, relax, and stream with ease. They want something that they could just pick up, boom, start streaming, and relax. So on average, they do skew a little bit more male, about 54%. But keep in mind when I show you all of the platforms that we're available on, we can pinpoint specific devices to get you a more female skewing audience if that's desired. I know obviously with your performance RFP it is much more male, so we can also focus even more so on the male skewing devices like the consoles and to get you that audience. And
you can still help us reach females, correct?
Absolutely.
Like even though it's being identified as a little bit more on the male side, we have targeting capabilities.
54% male. We can focus on specific devices, and we can also focus on specific content.
Okay, great.
To get you more female skewing audience.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then 70% do fall within that 18 to 49 age range. I know that that's important to you, and even more so the 18 to 34 is super important for you guys, and that is truly our core.
Great.
And then the median age is right around 28 years. So perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah, perfect for you guys. So in regards to programming, I know you guys all watch Crackle, but we are more of a curated network. And we oftentimes compare ourselves more to a cable network, like an FX or an AMC, just due to the fact that we are curating our content. We're changing it out each month. So unlike a Hulu, which is an aggregator of content, when you go to Hulu, you really need to know what you want to watch. You have to seek it out and find it. When you come to Crackle, we're offering you an editorial voice. So we're making weekly recommendations of what you should be watching. So it's truly catered to a specific audience. But in regards to the movies, TV shows that we have available, everyone always asks, oh, is it 100% Sony content? It's not. It's about 30-35% Sony content, maybe even a little lower now, because we also have amazing partnerships with Lionsgate, NBC Universal. We just signed a huge deal with them for a handful of their movies and TV shows. Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, Relativity. We're working with everyone. We're even working with Relativity on one of our upcoming originals. We've worked with Legendary Pictures on one of our originals as well. So it's a great variety of content. So I teased you in the beginning in talking about our revamp. And we've been also talking a lot about how more and more people are just very comfortable with streaming content, but they still are watching it on their TV. And currently, a lot of the digital content that you're available to watch still feels like you're going to a desktop to watch it. Just the way it's set up, it feels very much like you're logging on and you have to seek out and find what you want to watch, as opposed to TV, traditional TV, where you just turn on and a show pops up. So what we're doing, we actually launched a few weeks ago on Roku 3 with the revamp. And now when you open up the Crackle app, programming is automatically playing. So it's fantastic if you want to just turn something on and go cook, or just have background noise and not have to sit there and fiddle with trying to figure out what you want to watch. But what's also great is while you are watching, you have the option to then pull up the navigation at the bottom so that you can see what else is available to watch. And you'll notice there's different colors, so it's going to be color-coded by genre, which is really great for you. And so it's just an awesome way to have something on in the background, but still have the ability to really click on it yourself. And so I'm going to take you through a little video now so you can get an example of how this works. There we go. So you can see, you turn it on, and then the content is playing in the background. And we're going to talk a little bit more once we get to the DMP about our new targeting capabilities. So just something to keep in mind with the revamp. That's one of the big reasons why we launched a DMP, was so that we can also start targeting the content that you're seeing. So there'll be day part targeting. So obviously if you come in the morning, we're not going to be playing a Dead Rising or some horror focused movie. It's probably going to be a Seinfeld or Comedians in Cars, something that's a little easier to start your day. Whereas in the evening, you'll probably see more of those other movies. And also as you start to watch and as we start to get to know you a little bit more, we're going to start pushing out content that aligns with what you've been watching. So if you're a big Seinfeld fan, we're absolutely going to be pushing out Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee for you to check out.
Really great news.
Yeah. I know no one's really gotten it right yet. So
yeah, it seems
we're
like it's
excited.
just a departure from the space where you go to, I know like when I turn on my Netflix or Amazon, it's such a static page and there's all this stuff thrown at you in their face, and it seems like they know what the recommendations are for you and they know your habits, but the reality is that so many people are using that device in the living room that it could be somebody else's recommendations and not really specific to me. And a lot of times it seems like they're just pushing out their own new original right in front of you. But that's a nice departure from. It seems like a very hybrid experience, which we love here at Lexus.
Glad you like it. I know. I'm so glad
Maybe
you
we could
like
do something around that, like the hybrid experience with a hybrid car launch.
That's a great idea. I'm happy to go back to the team and get together some ideas.
Because you've only launched on Roku right now, so maybe we could look at, as you roll across other platforms, just play off that hybrid technology.
That would be amazing. We can definitely look into that.
Okay.
Love that thinking. Okay, so specifically, you guys have seen this before, but last time you saw it, we definitely did not have this many partners. So it's just amazing. I feel like every time I come to see you, we're adding more and more partners. And of course, on the top, this is the core focus, all the gaming consoles, connected devices, connected TVs, etc. And that's where we continue to see more and more partnerships because obviously more and more of those devices and TVs are launching. And people are also getting more and more familiar with using them, so more are selling. And then, of course, we also have mobile tablet apps that you can download, and then, of course, at the bottom, online. And our newest partnership is actually with Delta. Have any of you guys flown Delta lately and seen Crackle?
Yes, I just was on it last week and saw CCC.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Congrats.
so it's select content that we have available. but it's obviously more family friendly. So like the comedians
Right.
in cars playing it forward.
Right.
But you'll see more and more partnerships like that roll out. And
Fantastic.
something that's really cool is that we have partners reaching out to us almost daily, wanting our content, and we have to really limit who we work with because obviously it's every device that we're on is going to have a different setup. So our team has to work to get all the specs and all the files properly for that device. So we have to ensure that each partnership that we are putting in place is going to make sense for both brands.
Does that limit your inventory sometimes when you? I guess because your engineering team must be overwhelmed by there's constant devices being launched, and I would imagine it would increase your inventory when you have the platform added to it. But I would imagine as you roll out, maybe it would decrease or maybe not be as...
Not necessarily, because we always are rolling out really smart,
Right.
where we're not necessarily serving the advertising at first, making sure everything's working properly.
Okay, got
and
it.
we have a team that's monitoring it 24 hours a day
That's great.
to ensure that everything's running smoothly and properly.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, so now talking a little more specifically about advertising, Crackle really is a great complement to your traditional TV buy, and I know you guys definitely play in that space, and I would never tell you not to play in that space because it's very, very important. But I just want you to keep in mind everything we've been talking through, that there's a huge percent of the audience that isn't necessarily watching traditional TV. So Crackle really gives you that opportunity to hit this audience and provide incremental reach to your audience. And obviously, really a lot cooler things that we can do in terms of the integration and some of the other ad units, interactive ad units that we have. So let me build this out for you so I can take you through our DMP that I've been talking about. So I've been talking about targeting, and I know you guys are always asking for better targeting. So in April, we launched our DMP, and previously, every time we had chatted, I had mentioned that we didn't require users to log in or register. And so we're changing that now, because now that Crackle has become more of a household name and people understand it and know what it is, now we do want to collect the data. Obviously, it's going to offer better targeting for your advertising, and then also it's going to give us the ability to target the content that we're providing the user. So it's a win-win for both parties. And so we've partnered with Adobe to create the DMP, and I'll take you through that on the next slide to give you a little bit more better understanding on DMPs, which I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
DMPs.
It's anonymous, I'm assuming. Some of the...
It's completely anonymous.
Okay.
Yeah, all the data is completely anonymous that we're storing. And then we, on the back end, we actually are working with Nielsen and ComScore for a ton of custom reports that we're able to share to just truly validate the data and show you guys that, yes, we are hitting that exact audience that we're telling you that we're going to be hitting. And the reason why we have launched this DMP is because, as I've been talking about, we do consider ourselves to be more like a TV network, right? So in order for us to actually come in and say, yeah, we're more like TV, buy us like TV, we had to make sure that our ducks were in a row, that we could actually measure in the same way that TV measures. So that's why we've gone to all this work over the past year to launch all of this. Okay, so diving specifically into our DMP, as I mentioned, we are working with Adobe, and it's collecting all of this anonymous data. It's pinging that against Experian, and then allowing us to come up with addressable matching for a specific target audience that you are looking to buy. So whether it's using the first-party data directly, which we can do, we also layer in third-party targeting as well. And so we're able to really hone in on a demo, specific shopping habits, and specific behaviors.
So, Amanda, I think with like a partner like Experian, which you mentioned, I'm assuming they actually have sales data. So if I want to reach a female 18 to 34 that purchased a Lexus in the last, 4 years, I'm assuming you'll probably have that information at some point after you guys continue that. Okay, great.
Absolutely. As we start to collect more and more of this information, I'll be able to share with you all the specific targeting for Lexus that we'll be able to do.
Do you have any concerns? This is sort of a loaded question, but with the hack that you guys experienced last year at Sony with all that anonymous data, I know that there could be some concern about something like that leaking out.
Not at all. During the hack, Crackle was completely safe. Crackle was not touched.
Okay, great.
What we experienced during the hack was more the personal information of employees is what they were looking for. So there was actually nothing that happened to Crackle. Everything ran smoothly. All ads continued to deliver. So it was actually pretty amazing.
That's fantastic.
So you can rest assured that you are completely safe, and especially now with even greater security measures that Sony has in place.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure for partnering with you guys, and especially from the second party data information where we're sharing our customer databases, that things are in a safe environment. I know that was out of your control, but clearly something that we have to think about here at Lexus.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are completely safe.
Great.
Cool. So we've been talking a lot about the incremental reach, and this is just a really great example that shows you, as you're purchasing TV, the incremental reach that you can also see in running a campaign with Crackle. So it's especially important for that adult 18 to 34 audience that you guys are looking to target. So as I mentioned, of course, continue buying on TV, but what I would recommend is some of those incremental dollars that you would typically allocate to TV, take them and allocate them to Crackle, because you're actually going to see an additional reach. So it makes sense to bring in a new audience.
Very good.
Okay, so let's dive into the fun stuff, the originals. And previously, when I first joined Crackle about 2.5 years ago, the budgets that we were working with for our originals were around 6 to 8 million, which is great. When we started to use 4K cameras, but they weren't on par to what Netflix was launching, or even some of the Hulu originals that were launching. So Sony has truly invested in Crackle this year and in our originals, and the majority of the originals that are launching are now closer to $40 to $50 million budgets.
Wow.
And that includes talent. You'll see the caliber of talent has gone way up. It also includes the production value. And the biggest thing is it includes the marketing. So we now have the means to just market the crap out of our originals. So you'll start to see more and more billboards. We do linear TV spots as well. You'll see print ads. I mean, we're everywhere now with our originals. So just know that when you're partnering with us, you're not only getting the integration into the original, you're also getting all this additional marketing that we're doing.
Are we able to take advantage of some of that, like, social marketing that you guys are doing and tap into that with you?
Absolutely.
Like if we were to join an original?
Absolutely. There's a lot we can do there, also with press releases.
Oh, great.
We can definitely look into that and see how we can leverage the two. Yeah, as long as we do it early enough and get the partnership going.
Very good.
So the coolest thing with our originals, and you guys know this when we were working to integrate you in Throwaways, is that we have the ability, unlike most other folks that do originals, since we do actually sit on the studio and we are part of Sony, and we have the ability to loop you guys in super early in the process. So we can actually work to rewrite scripts, we can work with the producers, to figure out exactly how you want to be integrated into each scene. So that's something really cool. This is an example of Infinity, where they are actually going to be in the Art of More. I know I told you guys about the Art of More. We weren't going to be able to get your cars to Canada in time for that. So Infinity has actually moved forward with this, but have no fear. I think Startup is actually better for you, which I just sent over last week for your proposal, and we're going to talk about that one too. So
is that Kate's leg sticking out of the Infinity right there?
It is Kate's legs. Yeah. So, that's the alignment. I know that talent has always been big for you guys, and you like well-known talent. So from here on out, you're going to know the names of everyone.
Amanda, I know you love shoes. Is she wearing a pair of Manila Blahniks, or like what do we got
I
there?
don't know what those are, actually. They don't look, no, the heel's too thick to be like a Manolo.
Got it.
But,
Great.
she looks good. That's
Great storyboard.
Probably not the final.
Really cool.
And just know that we can create storyboards for you to share with the client, really give it that special touch.
Fantastic.
Great. So let's dive into Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Play you guys a fun little video. Yay. So Comedians in Cars, as you are well aware, we've had for quite a while. This was really the original that put Crackle on the map. It's been an amazing partnership that we've had with Acura, and they do still own it through 2017. I know you guys have asked, but the good news is that we will have it available until 2017, and then from there we can talk. But just again, season 6 just wrapped. We've seen over 100 million streams of this original. It's just done insanely well. And to me, this is the best example of an advertiser coming in and really integrating properly into an original. So if you can believe it, Acura actually gave up a lot of the creative control to Seinfeld. He actually was creating their pre-rolls, which is why when you watch it, they just fit so beautifully into the content. He was actually deciding what the product integrations would be, and so they're hilarious. He calls it out, oh, there's my product plan, I'm looking for my product plan, but it works. So in my opinion, this is just a really great case study of the best way for a brand to integrate.
I heard him say something about garbage on YouTube at your upfront this year in New York. It was hysterical on stage.
Did you like that? Yeah. He's a big fan of Crackle. We've allowed him the creativity and the freedom
Right.
to produce what he wanted.
Yeah, he seems like he really likes either this is the shorter format, not long form like a
Right.
movie, but it's still premium content.
It's premium, and it's
seems like he is definitely wanting to address the fact of the matter that there's so much junk out there.
Yes, all of our originals are obviously professionally made.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so diving into Joe Dirt, hilarious trailer. Have any of you guys checked it out yet?
I watched the movie last week.
You did? Did you love it?
Yes.
Yeah, so for those of you that didn't have a chance to watch Joe Dirt 2 yet, it is a full-length feature. It is the sequel to the original Joe Dirt, which came out back in 2000. I mean, hilarious. Funny story on this one. We were actually supposed to launch this last year, and David Spade had come to Sony for years to try to get us to create a sequel for him. And at first, everyone was like, no, thank you. This is really what is Joe Dirt? But then after doing the research and checking out the social clout that David Spade has and the number of people that are still dressing up and posting pictures on Facebook and Instagram as Joe Dirt, we realized, okay, wow, there's something behind this. Like, he's one of the most followed actors. So they decided to do it. And then the reason why it didn't get released last year is because he wanted all the original talent to be in it. And so there were a lot of conflicts. So finally, we got it filmed in New Orleans and launched it in July. And it has been live for a week and has already done over 1 million streams.
Wow.
So it's doing insanely well. I have a feeling there's probably going to be a third. So start thinking now if any of your cars are going to fit for this one. And it's more affluent of an audience than you would think. I actually have a really great research study that we did on the first Joe Dirt. It is college educated. I think the majority are 75K HHI plus. So it's definitely not the trailer trash kind of idea that you're thinking. It is a very well educated audience.
Cool.
All right, so The Art of More, which I know you guys have watched this trailer before, so we'll skip through this one. I'm not going to spend a ton of time since we talked a lot about it initially, but this one is our first 1-hour series that we're launching in November. There's going to be 10 1-hour episodes, and this is a little bit of a departure for Crackle. It's more of a drama. It's more like a House of Cards, if you want to consider it like that. Absolutely a $50 million production budget. And you can just look at the caliber of the cast. I mean, Dennis Quaid, Kate Bosworth, Christian Cook. He was the runner-up to be Christian in 50 Shades of Grey. And then, of course, Carrie Elways from Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies. But this one is filming right now in Canada. It's just about to wrap. Really great product integration with Infinity, which you will see. But very excited. So definitely I will let you know when this one launches. So Super Mansion. Super fun. Play the video for you guys. La 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 la. Okay, so very funny. So how many of you guys watch Robot Chicken? Yes. So you know the stop motion animation. The guys that are behind Robot Chicken, Stupid Buddies, Seth Green and his team, they are actually working with Bryan Cranston to produce Super Mansion for us, which is also going to be a stop motion animation series. It's basically, you can think of it as you saw in the trailer, it's the effed up version of the superheroes, right? So Batman's parents never died. So he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. And it's hilarious. It's a little raunchy. It's definitely not on brand for you guys, but it's just something fun that gives you an idea of some of the originals, like where we're going this year. So this one's launching in November, 30-minute episodes. And there's already a lot of buzz. They were at Comic-Con. I don't know if you guys saw the article with Brian where he made some hilarious comment to a kid that was asking about Albuquerque. Just go to YouTube and look up Bryan Cranston Albuquerque joke and you'll die. It was hilarious.
It was foul.
It was foul, yes, but it was funny.
But people laughed.
People laughed, yeah. Okay, so Sports Jeopardy. We'll watch a little clip. You guys are very familiar. I know you were really considering this last year for the broadcast upfront, and I'm happy to let you know that the first year did insanely well. Over 10 million streams, and this, as you are aware, is a weekly show that launches with, of course, Dan Patrick. And it is coming back for season 2, and we're actually going to change it up a little bit. We're just make it a little bit hipper, a little bit cooler, throw in some brackets, and there's also an opportunity with this one that I wanted to share to do even more with Dan. So obviously he has his radio show, and he's got some other shows that we can potentially align with to do something even bigger outside of Crackle. So if sports, if this is something that you want to revisit, let me know, and I'll send over more of the
I
details.
think we'd be eager to hear more about what all those new opportunities or that new format looks like.
Okay, great.
Yeah, for sure.
Great, I'll send it
If
your
there's a way
way.
to tap into anything that's linear or radio in nature,
Mhm.
I think that could be something that could be interesting for us because he does obviously have a very big following.
Absolutely. Does this stop when it goes dark? Is it still?
Mine, I had to put my finger over it, but I got it pretty quickly.
Stopped.